Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO Podcast. And today we have Ms. Gunjan Jain with us, who became an HR head within 7 years of starting her career in HR. So, welcome, Gunjan. Thanks for giving us time. Please.
Uh, it's an opportunity for me to be here. And I was literally thinking and wondering how to begin this podcast. But yes, you allowed me to speak all over the places. I think it'll be a interesting and insightful journey.
Thank you, Gunjan. So, see, normally we start with why HR, but so I would like to start with, I'll come to that later, but to start with, how come within 7 years you became an HR head? Within 7 years of starting your career, and this is one of the fastest journeys that I have seen with amongst all the podcasts that I have done. So, what has been one big secret of your success, Gunjan?
So, HR, if you just allow me, let me just share my journey. So, as I come from a small town in UP and was born into a conservative family, where pursuing a professional career, especially with ambitious aspirations, wasn't very common. But one thing was very clear to me from childhood that I wanted to create an identity of my own while contributing meaningfully to society. And this could not have been possible without my parents' support and their utmost trust on me. So all credit goes to them. So did my schooling from there, Muzaffarnagar. There's a place in UP. So like many engineering aspirants, I pursued my bachelor's degree in engineering from UP Technical University, followed by my master's in HR and marketing. That was a dual specialization. Uh, so initially, my plan was very different. And as an engineer, I wanted to pursue my master's in operations because I was fascinated by my father's business. He ran a rice mill. I've seen the entire process, systems, operational stuff there. However, life had other plans for me. So during that period, my family's business went through a significant crisis. So surprisingly, the challenge wasn't related to market, competition, finances, it was fundamentally a people problem. And
Oh,
that's just to answer your question that in 7 years, how I become an HR head, because that's something was there in my mind that how can HR or people function, they turn around the business and how we can actually make best use of our capabilities to transition the whole ecosystem. So there was in my father's business, there was no structured HR function, I would say, no standard operating procedures, no budgeting discipline, and very little accountability. So I watched as the entire business struggle, and that made me realize something that changed my career forever. So I started my career with ZEE TV as an internship, wherein I learned how to set up the entire ecosystem for any HR function because that time Dish TV was introduced and at a very nascent stage.
correct.
So, and then I did my internship for almost 6 months, and then I got a campus placement to Subros. Subros, again, I started as a management trainee, and my journey has been very insightful, meaningful, and throughout my career's time in Subros, I learned each and every phase of human resources, I would say. So that experience completely changed my perspective. And the amount of knowledge, understanding I gained during that period, I would say that I have not even gained that knowledge in rest of my career that I've been to. So
Okay.
wherein I'm just contributing to the business, but the real learning started from Subros. So Subros gave me opportunity to work at the shop floor. So
Oh,
wherein I being a fresh graduate and master graduate in HR, the first project was given by the CEO, the Dr. DM Reddy. And he asked me that you being an engineer, can you help us out in improving the productivity of a compressor line? So wherein productivity was the biggest challenge, I worked all across the shift in morning shift, afternoon shift, general shift, and the night shift. So wherein I was the first female, worked in the night shift, and many operators they were not used to seeing a female in the shop floor. When I walked down to the shop floor, people were really thinking, then I don't know what she's coming. And every day she comes, and I know she doesn't talk to people. She watch us and she goes back. And I did that exercise for almost 3 months. Same exercise. People were really curious. I don't know, she belongs to HR, whether she is doing something. They started, talking among themselves, the water cooler talks, tea, coffee talks, and everywhere it's like that. I don't know why she comes here. She just checks, she takes a note of it, and then she goes back. So then I was actually checking their idle time
Oh, okay.
throughout my 3 months.
Okay.
And that was the thing. It's not about, checking that whether they are really interested to work in the line, but just to understand whether there is any process, there's any process gap. So where material is available or not, that's the reason the operator is idle,
Mm.
or if there are other process gap, uh, so that we can identify those gaps and make improvement there. So I've been into the talent acquisition, learning and development. I set up the HR processes. I was also part of SAP implementation. I think very few companies at point in time, talking about 2005, they were having complete SAP HR, and that was an enterprise model. R4 and R3 we implemented. I'm talking about 2005. And I was also been instrumental in setting up the few international mobility, because they set up a plant in, not plant, it was kind of assembly setup in Thailand to support Tata Nano project. So I gained all depth understanding of HR processes there. When I actually graduated from Subros, I would say, because the 7 years was my graduation and post graduation from there in HR, the real graduation and post graduation. And then I got an opportunity to head the entire HR function in IMI Precision Engineering. That's a UK based company. So, wherein I was given an opportunity to manage India as well as Southeast Asia operations.
Correct. So one question that comes to mind is, so how much did you improve the productivity by this 3 month time that you spent there? How much did the productivity actually improve by, and what were the challenges, and how did you find the solution?
So the problem was not operators sitting idle. The problem was the change over the shift. When the
Oh,
shift changed over, the material was not available, and
oh,
that's the reason the shift changeover was the one challenge. The
mm,
second challenge was during the process, the material availability and the changeover from one process to another process, because few processes were automated and few were manual. So the changeover from one process, one station to another station was the challenge. And the third one, as I mentioned, that the availability of the material.
very nice. And
So the
so,
productivity improved by 33%
oh,
by fixing all three issues.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Gunjan, 33%.
yeah.
I mean, the amount of profitability we are talking about is so large. And that was possible because of your engineering background plus your HR perspective. Is that
Yeah.
how you would mention it?
Ye- Yes, so my engineering background, because I could understand the process very fast. My HR experience, wherein while I was doing the productivity project, I really did not realize people, did not make them uncomfortable. I did not
Oh, correct,
interfere in their processes.
correct.
All were seamless. But yes, they were looking at me, but they were sure that, okay, nothing is going to happen worse.
Very nice. So you were able to look at it using your HR training on how to make them comfortable so that they don't feel bad about it, that they are being watched, and then using your engineering to understand the process and what are the issues. So amazing. So very nice. So did you make a case study out of it and share?
Yes, that was there. That was one of the biggest achievement and first ever project I did in the shop floor.
Very nice. And you also talked about that you were into talent development in Subros, you were into SAP implementation, and so I believe all these things, for example, SAP implementation would have given you an all-round view of all the departments, that the process flow from the stage zero to the stage Z, so as to say, so that everything which is happening and how where are people involved, because SAP implementation. So again, and that is how it would have progressed your journey. So one question is that you actively sought out these appointments, or they came your way and you did not feel challenged and you were eager to participate in taking up these opportunities. For example, when your CEO asked you to go to the shop floor, you did not feel hesitant, you were open, and you eagerly, raised your hand and took it. And similarly, all the other, like the opportunities that you got, you eagerly took them, as I understand.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned that I was very fascinated with my father's business. So that's
Correct.
the reason I want to pursue my MBA into operations. And so I've seen the manufacturing there. I've seen the process optimization. I was so excited when I got a placement to Subros that, okay, I can see that how product gets manufactured.
Right.
So I was really excited because since I've done engineering, so I thought that I can best make use of my engineering capabilities blended with the people capability that I can develop in people and take this journey forward.
So my two questions are that one, you were fascinated about the business process. How does business happen? How does products get manufactured? How to improve productivity in that because of your father's business experience. Second, a softer skill of not feeling challenged by taking up new assignments. By taking, so you were willing to take up anything which the organization would present to you. SAP implementation.
Absolutely. I really did not myself restricted to any area that, okay, I'll join a company and I'll only do the recruitment.
Correct.
So whatever came on my way, I grabbed it because end of the day, I wanted to be a generalist so that my vision was very clear. So I wanted to contribute to each and every section of HR. And since, any challenge would come in, I really did not take it as a challenge. I take it as an opportunity to learn.
Very nice. So, for a young HR professional, these are two very important lessons. First, be business oriented, and second, be open to taking up challenging tasks or stretch assignments.
Yeah.
What else? What else has been your secret of success, Gunjan?
So I don't believe there is a universal secret or magic mantra for success. That's me. So
Correct.
success is deeply personal. So each of us has our own journey, our own experiences, our own way of looking at life and work. So what works for one person may not work for another. So instead of sharing a secret, which I don't have, honestly, I would like to share my personal philosophy. So the five principles that have guided me throughout my career. And they are not complicated, I would say, and they certainly are not revolutionary. But they have helped me make decision, build relationship, which is very critical, and grow as a professional and as a leader. So the first principle is know the business before HR.
Very nice.
So for me, HR has never been just about policies, processes, or compliances. It's all about understanding the business first. I always ask myself, how does this company make money? Who are our customers? Where do our profits come
Bola,
from?
the Moonfali.
And yeah, and perhaps most importantly, what keeps the CEO awake at night?
Very
So
nice.
that point in early days of my career, I was just a management trainee. I moved to a manager role and then gradually to a different hierarchy in the organization. So that point in time, the one question came in my mind: what keeps my CHRO awake at night?
Very nice.
And I got an answer: that's people, nobody else.
Correct.
Because we are feeding the families, we are not just feeding the employee. Okay, so when you understand the business, your conversation become more insightful, more meaningful, your decisions become more relevant, and you move from being an HR professional, most importantly, to becoming a true business partner.
Very nice.
So that's first discipline. Second, build credibility through execution. Whatever we do, personally, professionally, credibility plays a very important role. So I have learned hard way that people rarely remember our presentations. What they remember is whether we delivered. Did we keep our commitments? Did we take ownership? Could they debate on us? So execution builds credibility and capability builds influence. So this is my second principle.
Correct.
The third one is never stop learning.
Very nice.
So I would urge all fresh graduates, postgraduates, entry level professionals that they should not stop learning, should be a continuous process. Some of my greatest lessons have come from my global leaders because I have been into global roles. So, who challenged my thinking? Business leaders who taught me strategy, colleagues on the shop floor who helped me understand operational realities. When I've done my project at shop floor, I learned a lot from people. Even the operator who is actually running the machine, and the customer who reminded me why our work matters. So learning is not something that ends with a degree. It is a mindset that continues throughout our careers.
Very
So
nice.
learning agility is very, very important. That's my third principle. The fourth principle is relationships matters.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen time and again that businesses moves at the speed of trust.
Very nice.
Strong relationships create collaboration, make difficult conversation easier, and help organization move forward with confidence. Fifth and the last final one is stay humble. So titles don't make managers or leaders. So don't go with my fancy title. So behaviors does.
Very nice.
So
So,
I have met people with impressive designations who inspired no one.
correct.
Also, I have met individuals without titles who influenced everyone around them
Correct.
through their integrity, respect, humility. Because humility is not the value, it's not a value placed on the wall, it's a behavior lived every day.
Correct. Very
So,
nice.
at the end of the day, these five principles that's mine have become my compass. So they are not the guaranteed recipe for success, but they are certainly help shape my overall journey.
Very nice. I'll also add, though you from your the risks that you took, because taking up every assignment without thinking about fear of failure, and just going ahead and doing it, going to night shift in the first job, being a young girl, and tolerating the water cooler talks and everything, and not getting intimidated by it or not feeling bad about it. It's so powerful, Gunjan. So, see, would you like to share some examples on, firstly, about building up credibility in execution, taking up ownership? How did that help your journey in building the trust, like you said, with the other stakeholders, with the people in the other department? So, some example where you were able to handle that challenge of delivering, and where you could not deliver because of the difficulty of the challenge, but still how you handle that situation. So two examples, if you would like to share in credibility in execution, building credibility in execution, Gunjan.
Okay, so yes, couple of them is coming straight away in my mind. Uh, I was given a project when I was working with a company called IMI Precision Engineering. So there's a little bit of background of it. IMI Precision Engineering is a UK-based company. They are the manufacturers of pneumatic components. So they manufacture pneumatic valves, pressure switches, tubes, and they also provide customized panels for automation. Like Maruti wants to automate a particular line, so they need a pneumatic panel to automate that line. So IMI Norgren was the last entrant in India for this particular business. There were competitions. They have already grabbed the market share, and we were doing good. Product was good, but yes, we wanted to be in a leading space. So wherein we were thinking of different product as a different to create a differentiation between our competition and IMI. So that point in time, we were actually thinking that how to build this differentiation by introducing a new product, because they were having a fantastic technology, and the only thing is that how to build that market in India. So how to create a talent, how to develop a talent for that product to ensure that we can transfer the technology and start producing that product in India. So as part of leadership team, we were deliberating and thinking that how to go about it. So we came up with a innovative idea. Okay, because the biggest challenge was to find out the talent, train talent in the same technology, because it's a niche technology in the India. So few of our existing employees working on the legacy business, they were transferred because they understand the know-how, product, technology, and everything. We gave them the front end roles, and then we also asked them to shadow few roles, whatever they were doing. They can shadow few additional roles into it. So then, what we did, we picked up few freshers, and then we set up a in-house lab, because there was no external training institute available to train those people. And the challenge was that, okay, my MD asked me that how you would you go about it. I said, I think this is quite possible, and let's experiment it. There's no harm, because it's not going to add any, additional cost burden to us. But yes, we have subject matter expert. I picked up engineering. I remember that guy, engineering manager. I asked him, can you help me out to design the entire pneumatic circuit, actually?
Okay.
Then he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to develop a pneumatic circuit wherein I'll ask you to train me. He said, no, are you joking? I said, no, I'm not joking, actually. So then he actually helped me out. He designed the entire circuit, and I explored a vendor who can actually uh, who can uh, who can provide me that circuit on a board, actually. So we created that board with all electrical wiring. We put in the actuator and everything, and we created a simulation there. And then we run that simulation. I said, okay, if the simulation will work, then this can be a testing lab for us. This can be a training lab for us. Okay. So then we tested that. It was a project of almost, I think, 3 months. We did that. One station got successfully operated. Then we replicated the same one with four workstations.
Very nice.
And then we could train, I think, at that point in time, close to 25 people in 4 months.
Very nice.
And I said, if we can replicate it, we keep adding talent pipeline to it, we'll train it, we'll push them to the floor, and then we'll again create another talent pipeline. And that's how we can develop our own talent pool without having any external support, no talent available in the market. And those who got trained in that technology in-house, they eventually become the managers, leaders,
Very nice.
as business continues to grow.
So had you sent these people to an international market to get trained, it would have costed so much.
So we were running a boot camp, so in that boot camp, we identified few people who can become a future leader for us. They were sent for that training program. They got trained. We ran a train the trainer session here who can learn few things from them. And then we developed another set of people to go for next boot camp.
Very nice. So very powerful. Using your engineering background as well as HR background and the ability to take risks to try something different, it all happened. And would you also like to share one instance where maybe you were not able to deliver, but still the steps that you took, because you may have tried hard, but maybe it may not have worked out. So how did you still establish credibility with your hard work, with your effort? Because sometimes it may happen to people who are watching that they may take a risk or they may take an initiative which might not work out. So how to handle that in case you have experienced anything like that and you would like to share, Gunjan?
Okay, so I think yes, it's not that we all are born leaders. We found challenges while going through our journey. There have been a couple of instances, I would say, that we while we were striving for business growth, that okay, maybe this intervention may help us out to help the businesses, because all throughout my career my approach always been uh, to align business strategy with HR strategy, not HR strategy with business strategy. So business comes first. So wherein few interventions we started, I'm talking I'm talking about the manufacturing plant. Okay, so wherein we thought of having X number of shop floor manpower, contractual workers. Okay, and I think maybe everybody will agree to me that it is not easy nowadays to get the and labor in the shop floor. We were following one strategy. Okay, let us hire few people. Let us hire most of our critical processes as a trained resources. Okay,
Okay.
and then we thought of retaining them. We added extra incentives, production incentives, everything, whatever required, we could do it. And we thought of giving them promotion to the next level to become the supervisor and everything. We we had a situation wherein we were having all trained resources, but because we had most of them are trained, they felt that they become more valuable.
Oh,
And when they felt that they become more valuable, they actually created all their nexus. The good part is that there was no union, but they created their own nexus that to demand more.
oh, I
And
understand.
that was the lesson that that was not successful to have all trained resources. Then I would say that we should be having mixed pool of sources,
Well,
some trained, some freshers, some unskilled, that who we can actually grow them so that you can ensure that these people will stay for a longer period. So that's something that that could not work out, while we were just thinking that if everybody will be trained and it becomes easier for us to turn around the business.
very
So
nice.
it wasn't hard to fetch all train people, but it didn't work. The strategy didn't work well.
So brave of you to candidly sharing this, Gunjan, because the young listeners who would be watching this, they would realize that even if you make a wrong strategy or you make a mistake, it's okay. You
Yeah,
actually
absolutely.
out of it. So that was the reason.
Learning comes when you make mistakes.
Learning comes when you make mistakes. See, you also talked about learning operational realities. And if you could share one instance where your habit of going to the shop floor and talking to people, and understanding the operational realities, how did that help you in contributing while the business strategy was being made by the all the stakeholders? So any
Okay.
instance where because of your knowledge of what actually happens, because people at all departments, they sometimes just assume things
Mm-hmm.
only when a person who's and normally what happens is that people at the top, it is not all of them, or generally maybe not all of them, may not be in touch with the ground realities. It's only when actually a CXO is in touch with the ground reality that he or she can help in making the right strategy, making the organization have the right strategy. So, any instance which comes to mind where this helped you, where this made you help the organization formulate the right strategy at the top, your knowledge of operational reality.
Yeah. So I think the best part in the manufacturing is that uh, when you are working in a manufacturing organization, so have you heard the word called Gemba?
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay, so Gemba is the process that people walk down to the shop floor. You watch all the processes and identify the opportunities for improvement. Okay, so during Gemba, you get a lot of opportunities to interact,
Mhm.
to discuss. So that's a Gemba walk. So during that time, you come across a lot of things that may give some idea to the business as to how we can do it differently.
Okay.
So in the in one of my career's time, while doing this Gemba walk, uh, we realized that there's a uh, very small thing, but that made a big difference. And what was that? The process for uh, for monitoring the incidents, safety incidents.
Okay.
The process for monitoring the safety incidents, which is, I'm talking about the machine safety.
Oh,
So that's a machine safety. The process was not stringent. Process was not stringent. That landed up in a minor injury of the operator working on that machine.
okay. Okay.
So, wherein the beauty for that entire operation was that if there is any obstacle while running that machine, the system trips automatically. The machine trips automatically, machine operations shut down automatically. But due to uh, due to lack due to lack of preventive maintenance,
I understand.
that process could not be monitored properly during the preventive maintenance,
Hmm.
and that landed up in a minor injury. So my encouragement for the people working in the shop floor and the people who are responsible for the safety or the operations, they need to ensure that the properly preventive maintenance has to be done for the machines, and safety measures should be taken on top priority.
Well, I think if you start noting down all such incidents, being an HR person, how this knowledge would help the manufacturing process, that itself would be so powerful, Gunjan. Because the more I'm asking, the more you are coming out with instances of how as an HR person you were able to help in operational efficiency, which is so powerful. Very nice. So, see, we also talked about relationship matters, and generally, this is one of the biggest reasons that lack of trust. Like you said, the business improvement or business productivity, it works at the speed of trust. So again, as a young HR professional who's just entering his or her career, and maybe he or she is coming with so many preconceived ideas, and
Yeah.
so what would be your advice on how to go about it, how to build relationships, how to create that trust, and how to create those boundaries? Some thoughts on that, Gunjan?
Yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned, the relationships matter. So, remember a major transformation initiatives where we had to implement significant changes across the organization. The change itself was not the biggest challenge. The getting people to embrace it was,
Correct.
because we had invested in relationships over the years. Uh, Business leaders trusted HR's intent. Employees were willing to have open conversation. And even when there were disagreements, we could resolve them through dialogue rather than conflict. So, as what we did that for relationship, it is important to go beyond your authorities,
Okay.
beyond your boundaries, to interact, collaborate, to have a candid conversation, to make sure that you listen carefully. It's not that you
Oh,
speak, you
correct.
listen carefully. Your voice matters. So we entered into a stage wherein we were actually inviting each other to have a open conversation,
Mhm.
even when there were disagreement. It's not that I have a disagreement I would shy and I would avoid to have a conversation. So even we have a disagreement, we invited for an open conversation and we could resolve them through dialogues.
And
So that experience reinforced a simple lesson for me: trust is built long before you need it. You cannot build relationship in the middle of a crisis.
correct.
You need to start from the beginning. You need to ensure that the communication is clear. You need to set the context, the tone.
And that is
So
why,
your consistent action, your transparency, your commitment build trust. And that's what I always tell all young HR professionals: don't network only when you need something. Build genuine relationships, understand people perspective, be accessible, and earn their trust.
very nice.
You will get everything. And when
And
trust exists, influence follows naturally.
Very nice. And I think it boils down from building credibility by execution, by taking ownership.
Yes,
Because once you do that, then everybody starts looking at you from a different point of view, and then that trust automatically starts building.
absolutely.
Very nice. So, see, generally it is considered that girls, especially in HR, sometimes they let go of good opportunities because they may want to avoid manufacturing. First of all, the plants are located some distance away from the major cities, and then, dealing with labor and so many other issues. And sometimes girls maybe don't take up bigger responsibilities because of the guilt factor that I'll be taking out time away from my family if I take up additional responsibility. So, being a successful HR professional, being a girl in a manufacturing setup, could we talk about this? Some thoughts on this, Kunjan?
Yeah, see, I can share my journey. When I was inducted in my first company, I was away from my home, I think 300 kilometers away from my home. And I had no clue where I'm going to live. So it's not about traveling to the manufacturing, it's about where to live.
Correct.
I never lived outside my home. Uh, since my childhood, I've been with my parents. So, as a female, I never ever thought of what would it looks like if I'll go to manufacturing plant, how I would accomplish a task being female because I have a lot of responsibility from the family side. But yes, when you have a courage, you always find out ways to do it. So the first and foremost important thing is the courage. And for uh, for manufacturing, to me, I think, and whosoever will listen me, they will appreciate it. And I must appreciate and acknowledge that all throughout my life, I worked in manufacturing, and manufacturing leaders, people, even the people working on the shop floor, they are so caring for female worker. If at all you travel, you go to them, you talk to them, they won't even let you get into any problem, any issues. They'll come to you 10 times because I've seen, I've personally experienced it.
Oh,
So for female working in manufacturing is not an issue at all. So trust me, if you have a courage to go, if you have a courage to build relationship with them, talk to them, request them that I want to learn this, they will go extra miles. Although they have very stringent targets because every minute matters for them. They are
correct,
being measured with productivity. So,
correct.
but yes, they will find out time to help you out. Okay, you want to learn this, stay with me, I'll help you out. How it works. So to me, it's no brainer. Just go with the flow, talk to people, and keep your learning on the top priority.
Very nice. And what about sometimes females, they let go of opportunities because of the guilt conscience? That if I take up this bigger responsibility, I'll be taking out time away from my family. So, some thoughts on that, Gunjan?
So I think first of all, there should not be any guilt.
Correct.
If circumstances didn't allow you to continue because of the family constraints, uh, so it doesn't mean that you will never get an opportunity. So, if you will take out time from the family and if you think that it is possible, I think go for it. And if you think that your family doesn't allow you to continue because of certain family responsibilities and all, I think there are many opportunities which you can actually fulfill while working from home or working in an organization which demands your capability or your skill sets to operate from office, not to the distance places or to the manufacturing unit. Even in manufacturing companies, their policies are very flexible. If you go and raise your voice, okay, see, I have a problem, and I cannot go for extended hours, I cannot travel to that location, they will actually accommodate you in a different role which fulfill your aspiration as well as company's requirement.
Correct. Correct. No, very, very powerful. See, we also talked about understanding the business from end to end. So manufacturing is one thing, and you said that know your customers, you know. So how should a HR person working in a manufacturing unit know more about the customers? Let's say they are not in the corporate HR, they are at the plant, but it is important for them to understand the customer also. How can they go about it?
So there are various platform. So for an HR professional, you might have heard the platforms like whether it is CII,
Mhm.
FICI. When
Correct.
you go and interact different stakeholders, you get to know your customer at times.
Okay.
It's not necessary that you go and visit their plant, then only you'll meet your customer, but you meet your customer in different platforms.
Okay.
I've been meeting my customers all throughout in all these platforms. Sometimes you invite your customer to your place, and that point in time, you feel like, oh, you should be in the factory because that's the right opportunity to understand right from the customer and giving them an opportunity to interact with you and also to understand their requirement.
Correct.
Because few customers, and I'm not saying the few customers, most of the customers, they are very sustainability focused.
Correct.
They look forward for various sustainability interventions in the company that if you fulfill these requirements, we will give you an order. So where an HR plays a very important role to know the customer requirement.
Correct. Correct. See, we also talked about networking. So you talked about internal networking that you have to do it not only in the crisis, but it has to be done every time, you know. And we also talked about external networking, like going to platforms like CII or FICCI. So how
Yes.
important, and generally people feel that why does HR person need to do networking? It's the sales guys, maybe the marketing guys who need to, but it is a very important part for every professional in his or her career journey. So some thoughts on that, Gunjan. Networking.
So networking matters because HR works through influence,
Correct.
not authority.
Correct.
So most HR leaders cannot simply instruct the business to change. They have to persuade, collaborate, and build consensus.
Correct.
So when we talk about networking, I'm not referring to collecting business cards or adding connections on LinkedIn. I'm talking about building genuine professional relationships. So your network is your learning ecosystem. So every conversation exposes you to a new idea, a different perspective, better way of solving a problem. So like we can network uh, with our peers,
Correct.
mentors,
Correct.
business leaders, industry experts. So even many of the ideas I've implemented did not originate with me. They came from conversation with people who had faced similar challenges.
Very nice.
So networking also accelerates your growth.
Very nice.
Sometimes the right connection can help you solve a complex problem in 30 minutes.
Very nice.
That might otherwise take weeks.
Correct.
It gives you an access to best practice, market trends, diverse experiences that you may not encounter within your own organization.
Very nice. So
So, for HR professionals, relationships or networking are especially important because our role is built on collaboration.
very nice.
Whether it's finance, operations, sales, manufacturing, IT, any function. So my advice is very simple: that build relationship before you need them. As I'm just repeating the same statement. So I think in today's world, your network is not just your net worth. It is one of your greatest sources of learning perspective and opportunity.
This is so relevant, Gunjan. See, generally people think that you network for career growth and take
Yeah.
every encounter or every touch point as another step in your career growth. But so there are, but this may be the wrong way of looking at it, because like you are rightly saying, it is a learning opportunity. Every encounter, every interaction is a learning opportunity, and this is how networking should be done, which is so powerful. Because sometimes in today's world, today's age, that people generally think of networking as how I can get ahead in my career. How can I use this person, this connect? But so very powerful to say that how the approach should be that what can I learn from this interaction? What can I learn from the other person, and how can I get better by learning, rather than taking the narrow view of career growth on, so very powerful, Gunjan. All right. So see, another thing I wanted to talk about is from a manufacturing perspective, a young HR professional who is joining a manufacturing industry, any company, how should he or she plan his or her career? What are the aspects? So for the first 5 years, what should be the plan? That should I go for deep diving into one particular domain, like let's say talent acquisition or talent development or rewards and benefit or something, or should I try to learn about two or three different subdomains? How should one plan the first 5 years?
Okay. So, I think it is a very thought-provoking statement, but I love it. So that's the reason I would like to start with that. I would encourage all young HR professionals that don't build a career in HR, build a career in business through HR. So, early in your career, it's natural to focus on mastering HR processes,
Correct.
policies, labor laws, and system. Those are important. They form the foundation. But if you want to grow into leadership role, that alone won't be enough. So, initially, spend time understanding the business while doing talent acquisition, learning and development, drafting policies, SOPs, whatever comes on your way, keep doing that. But spend some time understanding the business as well for first 5 years. And I think there is no shortcut for understanding the business. You have to do it throughout your life till the time you operate in an environment, in a business environment. Visit the shop floor if you are asking me specifically the manufacturing. Visit the shop floor, sit with the sales team, talk to the customers, learn how many company creates value, where the challenges lie, and what success looks like from the perspective of the business. So the best leader, HR leaders, are business leaders first. So if I look at the HR profession today, I honestly believe you are entering it one of the most exciting and demanding times in the history. It is no, this is not going to be the same as it was before. The role of HR is changing faster. What made someone successful for 5 or 10 years ago won't necessarily make them successful in the next decade. You need to change your gears. You need to change your way of working, because the way we were being asked to do is no longer be the same that we'll be asked to do.
Correct.
And the way we were expecting to do and our aspiration is not the same what young generation or Gen Zs are looking for. They don't
Correct.
want to do a repeated documentation, coordination work. They're looking for much bigger picture, more valuable contribution. They would like straight away to go into problem solving. And I'm happy to hear all these things. So my first advice is don't define yourself by the HR process you manage. Define yourself by the value you create, whether in payroll or in recruitment or in learning and development or reward recognition, employee relation, experience, engagement, whatever you are doing it. But careers are built by solving business and people challenges,
Correct.
not by owning a process. So if I own a process, a talent acquisition, I have to. I cannot say no. But that's not enough. I need to make sure that I am also solving another problem or a challenge which I see. So that's my own initiative.
Very nice.
Second, embrace AI before it becomes your competition.
Correct.
So AI will automate many routine HR activities, from screening resumes and generating job descriptions to answering employee queries and creating learning content. So that's not something to fear. It's something to leverage. So let me, share my experience. I've been a part of various platform very recently wherein I was invited as a speaker. So, and all these platforms comes with a problem that how we can leverage AI, whether AI will take away the entry level jobs. So that kind of fear is coming up. So we should not be having any fear. Rather, we should learn how AI works. So experiment with it, use it to become faster. So future belongs to HR professional who know how to combine technology with sound human judgment.
Correct.
Human will not go away. There is no replacement for human connect.
Correct.
But how to make our process more efficient, more innovative, then for that we have to be with the same pace what industry is, whether it is AI, whether it is HR tech or anything, whatever comes on your way. So I made a very provocating statement that no job lost to AI. And people were looking at me, what she's talking. She doesn't know how many jobs have already gone. So I said, can anyone at the back read it? What does it say? People are saying, no job lost to AI. I said, you are not reading my two liners which I've written because that's a bold statement. You can see it. But you are not reading my other statement. My other statement saying that drive capability.
Correct.
Drive capability, learn AI, and those who choose to learn continuous learning, they will be in the race of success. So, so I know this is one of the most debated questions today, whether AI will eliminate entry level jobs or will eliminate the mid level jobs. And most discussions on AI begin with fear. Fear of job loss, fear of irrelevance. People are talking about that, whether my job is relevant, fear of machines replacing human. So I think I would like to challenge that narrative. See, the statement is not that no jobs lost to AI. Jobs are being redesigned by AI. So I would say no future lost to AI. As long as you are ready to adapt the technology, your job will remain intact.
Correct. So very relevant.
And the third, that's the second one. That reminds me again in the same connotation, I've been thinking actually that somebody asked me one question, interesting question, that if people have been embracing technology for years, then why there is a fear exist around AI? And I was thinking that which technology he or she is talking about. And then I took a pause and said, he said, tell me how many of us have used Siri? Hey Siri, answer my question. Hey Alexa, play this music. Google Map, navigate my journey, traffic journey. Chat GPT, draft something for me. Most of us are making use of this technology without having any fear.
Correct.
We trusted AI 10 years ago
Correct.
when it helped us navigate the traffic, music, answer question, everything. We did not fear it. We embraced it rather. So then why there is a fear for AI?
Correct.
So young professionals, I don't think so they have any fear, but they might be thinking that when they enter into a job, and that's a trend, they've been asked to do a documentation, coordination, all these things will be done by AI. What they will do, then they should be ready to take on high level challenges,
Correct.
to sit in a stakeholders meeting, have a conversation, solve problems,
Correct.
do some kind of analysis, analytics. There are a lot of things for them, and that's how they can grow much faster than me, which I achieved in 7 years.
Correct. And like you mentioned, improving the productivity in your first job. AI can't do that unless you
Yeah, I can't do that.
floor and you understand the processes. You make note of the idle time and everything, and use your human judgment. AI cannot do that by looking at the camera image.
Absolutely.
Very fast. What about
So my third advice or a guidance to young HR professionals, would be obsessed with employee experience.
Very nice.
So employees compare their workplaces with the best practices they have as consumers.
Correct.
So they expect simplicity, speed, personalization, and transparency. So every HR process should answer one question. Does this make life easier for our employees and managers? If the answer is no, challenge the process.
Very nice.
And I think the fourth one would be comfortable with data. So everything should be backed with data if you really want to success as a young HR professional. Don't make any vague statement which is not backed with data. People may challenge you. So everybody is looking forward with data driven decision making.
Correct.
You can only influence if you have insights. If you have insights, you can take actions. Last but not the least, I think I would say that don't chase designations too early. Chase experiences that stretch you. Take as many challenges as you can. Take as many initiatives as you can. Work on transformations. Work on volunteering activities for cross functional projects within the organization. Be part of difficult conversation, not easy to handle. Solve problems. That's where real growth comes.
Very powerful.
That's my mantra. I'm sharing my experience.
These are also very powerful statements, and I would have loved to ask you examples for many of them, Gunjan, but it has been more than an hour since we started talking. I still have questions written down where
Okay.
I wanted to talk, but we have to stick to the time limit. So maybe we'll have one more podcast where we talk about these things which I am missing out on today, Gunjan. It has been such a lovely conversation with you. So nice of you. So thankful that you could spare your time at the end of the day where you are still at office, you are still you'll be leaving shortly, and then you are giving us so much time. So nice of you. Thanks so much, Gunjan.
Thank you so much. All pleasure is mine.
Thank you.